Life is sweet. Let it sweep you off your feet.
Hey, it's Sally and Find Your Joy, and we have back with us my pal, Tanya Gillespie. Tanya is, well, you know her from such things as Adventures with Eleanor.
Do you know? It's like, what the
Yeah,
heck?
but do you
What's
really
Adventures
know her
with
from that?
Eleanor?
Tanya is a multi-instrumentalist. She's a singer, a songwriter, a producer. Why, she plays piano with the choir. I There's probably other things. Oh my gosh, amazing creator of videos and all things fabulous. Hi, Tanya.
Hi.
So first of all, what we need to really sort out, and which won't really matter to anybody who's listening and not watching the video, is we need help.
People listen and don't watch the video?
Some
Oh, yeah,
do.
this is a podcast.
It's a podcast, right? I know, like I'm such a visual person. I always hunt them down so that I can watch them on YouTube because I just need to see people. But there's a whole bunch of people that, are listening in their cars. We hope they're
Wow.
not watching if they're driving.
It's like I just was
Or walks.
born.
Yeah, I know. And so we're trying to sort this out, and if someone maybe somewhere out there in podcast land knows the answer, where do we look?
Where do we look?
Where do we look so that it looks like we're looking at each other when we're doing it? Because,
Because if I look at that guitar behind you, I
yeah.
can't see your eyeballs.
Oh,
So that
now
feels like I'm talking, like having a conversation with that guitar, which is fine. That's interesting.
it's a
But
great guitar. Why
yeah,
wouldn't you want to talk to it? Why would
I
you
know.
just shrug my guitar just because it can't be played well by me? Doesn't mean the guitar itself has an issue. I mean, the guitar is just sitting there going, kind of, oh my gosh, I just had a horrible thought. It's like a dog that's adopted into a family
Oh my
that know how to love it. Oh God, why did I think of that? Oh, it's hard to be me.
It is hard. I mean, to be me. And then us together. That's
Oh,
an
that's
entirely new
beautiful.
level.
Yeah, see, that's doable because you get me. And I
Yes.
don't have to be
Isn't that a beautiful thing about friendship?
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't have to be another way. Even if
No.
I'm looking at the wrong place, I'm looking at the right place for me, but it might appear odd when someone's watching it, but my heart is in the right place
Yes.
and it's held and it's
Somewhere
cared
to the
for.
center of
Something I don't really.
wait.
I know I'm kind of like, well, I thought it was here, but apparently it's actually kind of down here and I don't really know. But what I do know is that it's safe with you.
Well, that's very kind. I agree.
Of you.
Likewise.
It is kind of you. It is kind of you. So I thought today would be awesome if we hopped on here and talked about your new single.
Yeah.
And magic. So that's freaking awesome. Yes. And maybe chat a little bit about, I don't know, music and how this all works for you and I don't know, take it away, T.
What do you want to know?
Well, I'm watching that video,
Yeah.
so now by the time this airs, people will have all seen it. But I got to see it. That was really awesome of you to share it with me. And it is just it's lovely and it's fun and it's deep, but in a what do I want to say? Not silly, in a playful way.
Mm. Yeah,
And
that was the goal. That was the
okay,
goal of it.
cool.
Because I like to marry hard topics with absurdity.
Yeah. You
So
did it well.
yeah. Yeah, because there is something funny, not funny about hard topics, but if you travel along in hard things long enough, you realize that laughter and absurdity is actually the savior of all. So
It is.
yeah.
It's the only way to yeah, I have a really it's funny. I I won't say what it is, but I have a very hard thing that is, in my past that I share with another friend, well, probably many people, and this really hard thing, and we will randomly make the most vile jokes about it,
Yeah.
and we are like laughing, and that joke is that is how I live on this planet, having
Yes.
experienced that.
Yes. And I
I get,
think you earn your stripes to be able to like be
yeah,
able to, find humor in something dark.
yeah,
Like you can't almost do that until you've gone through the thing because you've
yeah.
earned the right now to like
Yes, it's
find the
true.
humor,
A
right?
skinny girl can't come in and make fat jokes. We know how
Yeah.
to laugh with her.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Right. It's
It's,
like,
or vice versa. A fat girl can't come in and talk about how the plight of the thin woman. Like it's
yeah.
just, like there's just a way that you experience something and you come out of it. So, so magic.
So magic. Yeah. Um, I took a page out of, well, I don't know. I didn't really, but I took a page out of the Beatles um idea because the Beatles used to always do these say you want a revolution
Yeah.
like they're talking about revolution, and it's like this like happy clappy kind of
Yeah.
upbeat song. So magic is actually came out of a conversation I had at first with my friend, and without going too much detail, basically, you know um, I think everyone who's been through some kind of trying to get somebody help in the system that we're in right now
Mm.
is very, very challenging. And so I was just sitting there trying to hear and trying to listen to her talk about trying to get help for her daughter, and just saying, it's like, what do you want me to do? It's like, it's not magic. Like I can't just snap my fingers. I've gone here, I've gone here, I've gone there, I've done this, I've done this, and every door is like a waiting game, right? So then she's just trying to like maintain, trying to help, trying to have some harm reduction, in the meantime, in the waiting game. And so that's where it came out of, is this like, this isn't magic anymore. It's basically just, um, the most magic we can have is walking something out,
Oh, yeah.
right? And that is the magic. It's just like kind of seeing it. But yeah, it's not the magic that we would like. It's not the presto, here's a thing.
Yeah, it's funny because, it's like anything. It's like a painting or a poem or a song. And there's, what I love about that is that as the listener, as the audience, it comes in and unless it's, my baby done me, my baby done me wrong song, that's, any art that has an openness to it for interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
I love that because I think it goes out to a wider audience. And I
Yeah.
love that about it because I was listening to Magic and just knowing you, I was trying to, I was like, oh, I mean, it's so happy and there's so much yellow and green in the video. How could that be about anything sad? I mean, and it's just so woo, and it's great. Yeah, isn't that funny? Almost, I remember the Beatles Yellow Submarine video. It was so fun, and
Yeah.
um, and then I'm listening to it, and for me, what I was hearing was the thing of, when people say things like, "Oh, like you guys just have a great relationship. You guys are so lucky because do you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah. Yeah.
do magic together. You're so lucky that you
Yeah.
have this." And but of course, I understand that it looks
Yeah.
like you don't want us to all be wandering around with big scars and
Yeah. Yeah.
bleeding everywhere. But when you think what it took
Yes.
to create that, so for me, I went to the place of, oh, for me, this is about a long-term healthy relationship.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was thinking about that before I'm talking to you here. I'm going, well, I'm always a little hesitant to tell people what my songs are about.
Yeah.
Because one of the great things about being human is we get to make meaning out of things. Like we do make meaning out of things just kind of naturally, but we get to change the narrative if we want. We get to find a story of ours and then we get to change it into something else if we want, or we get to see how it morphs into something. And so if I put my stamp, when I write a song, I kind of feel like I want to just let it comes to me like, I don't know, people can't really see that sound if they're on podcast. Just imagine.
For those of you listening at home.
Imagine what that is to you. Like case in point, you can imagine what it is. And music is like the internal interpretation of sound. It's like, because we hear with our ears and we perceive it with our mind, but then our internal world interprets it however it needs it to be. And that has saved my life more times than I can count. Like seriously, saved my life. And it can be, this is like the challenge I have with writing too, is for the longest time, many years, I could not write lyrics. Like I just did not have the words to articulate what I was feeling. And from a young child, I would be able to play it. I could always play it through sound, right? I could always play it, and I would have people, like literally, I just remember one time I was playing the piano inside a chapel, and just for myself, I was just playing at lunchtime, and a guy came in, and he was sitting in the back, and he started crying, and and I was like, "Whoops!" Like, sorry. I mean, I don't know. Like whatever I was playing made him, kind of attached to him in a way that was meaningful, and I mean, I can't make that stuff up. I really think that when we're playing music, we're receiving the thing that we need. And the musician gets to do that and then give it away as a gift, which is amazing, which I do in pieces and spurts. I probably have like, I don't know, I have so many songs I've written that no one's ever seen the light of day of.
Yeah.
And then occasionally, like magic, or I have this joke that I go 3 years in between releasing things. And then I come out of the woodwork for like 5 minutes. And if you miss it, see you in 3 years. So this is just like a little bit beyond 3 years. I think we're into our 4th year now. And
well, there was that dum we shall not speak of.
Yeah. And then I go back into hiding because I'm an artist.
Yeah.
We relate to that.
Yeah. It's sort of, and then I, you know, when I do come out and go, and then I sort of, there's the release, and then there's like a,
oh my God.
Story. I feel like this, you know, the spider that's cruising around, and then all of a sudden some jerk comes and throws on the bathroom light to go to the bathroom, and then all the night, and the spider's like, yeah. And has to run back in. Like,
yeah, it's fully the vulnerability. Like, oh my gosh, it's like, yeah, it's like this energy release because you've just honed this energy. You've created this thing that has energy in it, that's got life in it, and now you've birthed it. I've never birthed a child. Nobody needs to know that. They do now. You can take that out if you want. but I have birthed music. And I'm sure there's some similarities somewhere in there.
Yeah, for sure there is. And there's and I think with music, or, you know, I guess any art, music anyways, is there's a way that we carry it and we nurture it. And sometimes it wrecks our bodies. And
yeah.
it's kind of like, and then there's the beautiful, ugly, glorious, difficult birth that comes, and then everything's wonderful, and it's like, oh my gosh, look at my baby, this is awesome. And then stay away from my baby.
Yeah,
I don't want you to hold my baby. There's all of these.
Or I don't want you to see me holding my baby. I don't want to see you feeding your baby. I don't know what it is. Like,
Yeah, no, but it's true because there's, I don't know. I think that there may be, I wonder about people who are, at a level where there is, I've thought about this, at my level or your level or anybody's level who's, played for maybe, I don't know, I can't speak for you, but, maybe a few thousand at a time, typically in the hundreds though, and sometimes for three.
yes, if you played for more than 100, you played for three. That's
Yes, yes. And, and there's just, I think about how difficult that can be. People
yeah.
thinking what people, how people, the energy exchange and things people say after. Like I just think about a person like Taylor Swift or so, someone,
Hmm.
she comes to mind because she's young and in the center of things right now and incredibly talented and
Super
gracious
gifted
and
writer. Yeah.
yeah, and and then I look at what surrounds her,
Yeah.
the good and the good, the bad,
Yeah.
and the ugly of it all, right? And then I
Yeah.
think I have tasted that on a little bitty level, and
Yeah.
so it is scary to put anything out there because
Yeah. I mean, there's like, for me, I kind of like quite a long time ago, um, I sort of established that my place in the race of life and my pace in the race of life um, is going to be my own, right?
mm,
So I don't feel um, I don't feel pressure or um, like anything like that to be anything other than who I am. I can't do it. So if I get the inspiration, if I get the energy that's physically I have some what do you want to call that? Some thorns in my flesh. So I have to be careful with my energy output and how I do that. And so there's a lot of things that just people don't know about our lives and what makes us tick, right? And I love it because we can be whoever we want to be and whoever we need to be. And that can either make us more interesting to people or it can make people forget about us in a world of like social media, quick magic, quick, this.
yes.
Um, uh, I don't think that is my story. Like I don't think that is what I have to offer. I think what I have to offer is the great gift of time and how that allows us to create and how it allows us and gives us time to not fret and not worry about when the product is going to come out. You can have deadlines and things like that for yourself, but yeah. So again, even though it is the song's magic, the idea is that nothing is magic. Like in terms of there is actually times when miracles happen, and I do believe that. I believe that like we can be at the right spot at the right time, and but that all has to do with preparation too. Like we have to be prepared in order to receive the thing when that thing shows up. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't recognize it.
Wow, yeah.
Right? So that's still preparation, which is still walking things out one step at a time so that we have the capacity and um, the ability to hold the gift that is given to us. Right. And so because I feel like I've had like this gift given to me since the beginning of time, I can't imagine my life without music. I actually feel like I kind of like am music. like
Mm-hmm.
um and then I have a body on top of it, and so it's just kind of so kind of ingrained in who I am that it becomes not the most important thing, which kind of is weird, right? Because you have to kind of like you have to think of longevity. How am I going to balance music out with life? How am I going to balance this great creative energy that flows through us um, with having to get up and go to work, having to get good rest, having to exercise, having to stay mentally stable, having how do you do this?
Well, if you figure that one out, oh my gosh, please share that.
Right? Yeah. So I mean, the magic has a lot of connotation to it. It's like, okay, well, this isn't magic anymore. This is walking out one step at a time in your life and making decisions as you go. And then you get to, for whatever reason, share your creative gifts with the world. I think that's totally awesome.
Totally awesome.
I can't wait to hear your creative gifts.
Uh-huh.
You're coming out with more creative gifts.
I am. Yeah. And it's interesting. I first of all wanted to ask you a question.
Sure, sorry, I
Oh,
talked
we
a
might
lot.
get
Blah, 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 blah.
I started to, and then that sort of I was like,
Sorry, you get me talking about music. I'm just like gone.
No, I love that. I just when it went back to me, I was like, oh, I oh,
Sorry.
for God's sakes.
Sorry. Put you on the spot there. Jeez.
No, it's okay. I just didn't want to take away from what we were talking about with you. Because I think what I was trying to formulate this thought or statement or question or whatever this hell this is going to be, but like that's a long road. Again, it's not magic, right? So where you are today and the brilliance that is you and the grounded all of these, how you just described how you process this and what it's about, that did not come without, I'm guessing, without a fair bit of scrapes and bangs and tears and
Yeah.
and things like that. And but then I don't, it's not like I want to, I'm not like an investigative reporter trying to get what, I'm going to really put her on the
Ask me
spot.
what you want, investigative reporter. I will answer honestly.
Well, how did you get from there to here, right? And what does that even look like? And I think of things like, I don't know, maybe one of the two people who listen, maybe they, maybe
I'm sure there's at least 3.
Now I'm nervous. See, I could handle 2.
Well, I know there'll be 3 because my mom will listen to this.
Yes. Oh my God.
So that's at least 3.
And
Thanks,
my mom will too, but I don't know how they do that from the great beyond.
They do.
They do. Oh yeah. Okay. I just have, I don't know if I told you this or not, and then I'll get back to that. When I was just in the studio the other day, and we were just doing the final mix on the song that I wrote and had just recorded, and it was about my mom. And I was sitting there, I was standing actually, but I was listening to it, and this wave came over me, and what I was experiencing came out my mouth. How unlike me to say something before I'd even thought it. I just went, my mom is so proud of me.
Aww.
And
so true.
Yeah. And then I was like, and then I looked at Steve and I'm like, yeah, are we like pretty close to done? Because I'm feeling like I'm gonna lose it now. Like I was just like, I was so overwhelmed, and I was just, I was in a beautiful way, but I thought I was gonna lose it. And then and then we went, we were taking pictures, we're laughing, blah, 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 blah. And I'm still in this whoosh, whoosh, whoosh of emotion and just the tangible presence of my mom all around. And it's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then I get out to, it's on Powell Street in Vancouver, and it's like, and I'm walking back to the truck, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I got to the truck, sort of, in my little cocoon where I'm sort of, doors are locked. It doesn't matter if anyone hears me place. And I started to cry, but happy. Like I was just, oh my gosh. And then I thought, I need to eat an apple. I hadn't eaten yet, and it was
That
like
is
1:30.
so
And
the
I was
way it
just
is.
like, so, that's my process. And especially now with my new brain, everything's so whooshy. Like things don't land where they should, right? I'm just kind of like, my processing ability gets
Yeah.
all messed up sometimes. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I
Yeah.
say the words, and then I can look by the person's face and I think, oh, that was stupid to say. I can't remember totally what I said, but I can tell that it probably wasn't brilliant.
But here's the thing. Here's the catchphrase. Here's the thing. Is like, here's the catchphrase. I don't know what that is.
All the cool kids will be doing it soon.
What I was gonna say is, a creative soul would take that apple and turn it into something, because the apple is the best part of that story besides your mother. I need to eat an apple. And because it's this kind of simple, kind of very organic human thing, you're hungry and you're having this huge emotional burst of experience and they collide.
Yeah.
And that's where creativity is created. The apple meets the intensity. And that's the way that I experience creativity. That's the way that I find grounding in my life, is finding the apple in the intensity, if that makes sense.
It does. And at right now, I mean, there's so many layers to that, as there always is to anything. What, for me, one of the things in that is nourishment, and whether that's nourishment through food, through rest, through a
Yes.
hot bath with Epsom salts, through a walk, through playing with Samalama Ding Dong, my dog. Like there's a way that it was like just I just I that, right?
Yeah, I can feel that too.
Yeah, it's a way that can work. And just knowing myself now, right? Like I got up at, like 5 o'clock in the morning to be on the 7 o'clock ferry, so that I did, so that I could start recording at 11, to be done by 1:30, to be coming back and rushing, thinking, oh my gosh, I could make the 3 o'clock ferry. And I did, which was awesome. And all of that, kind of going on. But at the same time, it was, now I kind of understand the steps that I need to take. So for me, that's what I needed to do for it to work. I know, okay, I can't eat before I sing.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
That's just how it works for me for several reasons. It just doesn't work for my guts, but and just all of the things. For me, I'm a person who can't eat before I sing. So whatever, what, for several hours before I sing. And
Right. Interesting. Yeah.
yeah, so I gotta fix. So I was like, the apple was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I brought an apple. Actually, I bought two and ate them both. Just keeping it real.
I love it.
Yes.
No, I mean, I think, um, one of the lessons that has kind of grounded me through the years is
Yeah.
learning to understand that, I don't know, you'd probably understand the elements of this, but I have a background of trauma, like infant and childhood trauma. And so things like eating, things like taking care of your body, things like being hungry, or needing sleep, or needing, like, just kind of things that are sort of necessary for human function, can be actually embarrassing for me personally, if that need is there. And those are just normal kind of everyday needs that people have. And this, I don't know if I'm articulating this properly, but one of the things that music does for me is kind of ground me into the place that I feel most comfortable and safe.
Right.
And then what I've learned in life outside of music is how to live in the world, like how to be in the world, how to be okay with raw human need. Like, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I can ask for these things. I can, um, if I'm tired, I can rest. If I'm not doing well, I can tell somebody. Um, if I can't be on the internet today and promote my song Magic and be cool enough for the next 2 weeks to keep people interested, that's okay. You know, like things like that. Like I have learned that those things, I'm still learning constantly, but I have learned quite a lot that those things are the things that actually ground me and make me me. And I'm proud of those things. I'm proud of those things. I want to bring those things to people so that they know they're actually okay. It's okay to be whoever the heck you are, and to not be amazing every day of your life, and
Right.
to need rest, and to need food, and to need help, and to have bodily functions, even like all these things that we're embarrassed about,
Yes. Yes.
that drive us into addiction, that drive us into things that uh, feel shameful, right? Those are the things that make us who we are. And I think the connection that you and I have has been based in that. It's been based in the understanding of, like, wait a second, where are my people? Like, where is my safety net? Where can I find this grounding where people are, and we're connecting, and we're back on the ground and the earth? Like, I know a lot of people want it the ethereal, kind of like up in there. They want to know. And I feel like I've kind of lived, that is sort of where I live constantly.
Yeah.
And all I'm really wanting is to be on the ground. That's
I
really,
get that. I get that with every fiber of
yeah,
my being. And when you're describing that, I'm just like, for me, I'm just welling up in this because I, if I, at my most honest,
yes,
shame is
yeah,
my default position.
right, yeah,
And that is something that I still have to be really aware of it,
right,
because I can be in the middle of almost anything, and that will come in like a truck
yeah,
that's lost its brakes and it's going through the red light and it's just taken out everything and everyone in its path.
right,
And so so what I like to prepare myself for is that even in the whole thing of finding your joy and, the art of healing trauma and all of these things that I ever talk about, it's because what I know intimately, I
yeah,
know that I have to watch out for when I have this joyous thing and something comes out great. I have to prepare myself and be aware that I can then be very open to that
truck,
locomotive or truck
yeah,
bombing, because I've just opened up,
yeah,
and that one place that I have no idea is coming for me. I didn't
yeah,
even know it was still there. Screw you. How did
yeah,
this? And it doesn't have to be connected or correlated in any way that I can understand.
yeah,
It just comes.
yes,
And so I don't know. So I get that. And so feeling really grounded and just okay and not, and that's part, you know what? That's part of my thing that has stopped me every time in music. Because when I was
right,
really young, okay, so losing my voice has been hard,
yeah,
and I want my voice back. Absolutely, I do. I
right,
wasn't even going to try for it, but
yeah,
now I'm like, yeah, I want to do that again. But there was a place in me that it was hard, the attention that
right.
I got.
Attention is hard.
Attention's hard. And especially when it was something I didn't really, it's not like I built a house.
Yes,
Not like I mean, this is just, that's pleasant to you. It's like being pretty or not, or being
yeah,
tall or not, or
right.
whatever. It's just this thing. And so
I wouldn't know about that.
Yeah, right. It's just, people, however anything is, and it's not that anyone ever did anything wrong. It's that I came from this incredibly wounded place.
Yeah.
And so I say in my book, I was like, I wanted attention so bad, and then I couldn't stand it. If
Yeah.
it, being on stage was like the best thing in the world, except I don't want you to look at me.
Yes. Yes. I
I want
get
to
that. I have this
connect
kind of
with
I got
everyone.
this thing where I'm like, I wanted to be more like Daft Punk, where um I could like cover my face
Yeah.
and then do it, because I find that that's my whole 3 year thing, is that I find the the output, because I am not a half person when it comes to performing. I will go and I will give it. I will give you, and we will receive. We will have this transaction that happens, and it's amazing. But pretty much predictably every time, I crash and burn after,
Yes.
and it takes me months to recover, months. And so, I don't think a lot of people know that, but like, and it can seem selfish. I've had to really like tailor my life, and I do mean tailor. I mean, I have organized each day almost meticulously, including my job, which is amazing. My employers are amazing. They are amazing. Um, but I've worked really hard to tailor my job and my life, so that I get naps every day, so that I make sure that I have uh, times where I can walk, times where I can eat, times, and that seems very silly to some, or maybe like a privilege even, but for me, it's actually a necessity. Like I have to do that, otherwise I crash,
Right.
and then I'm no use in any capacity to anybody. So again, we have our individual needs, we have our individual gifts. Just because we have an amazing gift of something or other. For me, I have a gift of music and writing, um, and I love doing all that. I love teaching, but I also have this other side, right? And so just because somebody has a gift does not mean that they um, we can't raise people up. We can't put people on pedestals. It doesn't mean we can't look up to their character, or we can't aspire to be some of the things that we like about them. Like, so for instance, I love that you are so kind and so funny and accepting. I love those things about you. You are a safe place for me. I would not do this podcast with anybody else, only you, right? Because you are safe. You get me. Um,
Thank you.
so that's something I aspire to be for somebody else, but I will never raise you up to this place
Yes.
where you cannot be safe, where it's no longer safe for you to be human, where it's no longer safe. Because me raising you up to a place of godlike status is not nice. It's not kind to do that to
No,
people.
no. Yeah, and we, the general population do it with people who are, and I think that's sort of like what I was referring back to what I was talking about before. You get this small taste. People who have a large celebrity. So if you
Right.
have like a tiny celebrity, like, 3 people know who I am, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. But even those 3 people, it can be quite intense, and
Yeah.
expectations. And if I don't do it, how whatever, right? And however that kind of works. And I see celebrityism as this thing where we raise these people up. And sometimes I wonder, and the royal we, if that doesn't happen and we don't do that, so that we can then, now we have that person up there shining brightly, and now we can say every shitty thing we want to, and
Yeah.
somehow that doesn't matter, somehow that's all right. And even if you even that we would, any of us, I don't really, because I kind of even suck as a fan. I don't even really know what anybody does half the time. Oh gosh. But anyway, I mean, I know what I know and I know who I know and I know what I like about what they do, but but there is this way. I love what you're saying. When we raise someone up, there's a way that we expose them
Yes.
to whatever
Yep.
elements are out there, and that can be not so good.
Yeah. So how do we support people and like engage with their music and engage with their bigness? Because just because someone's
Yeah,
big and has a lot of clout or has a lot of
yeah,
people that follow them, that just means to me, it means they've got leadership qualities. It also means that they have a gift. It does not mean that that gift doesn't come with other things. Gifts are just gifts. Like, here
yeah,
you go.
yes.
I've given you this thing. It's a natural character in you. You are a magnet for people. People follow you because you have magnetism. I can't explain that. That's a mystery of the universe.
Yeah.
But some people do have magnetism where people just are so enthralled with them because they've got charisma or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's amazing. We just have to remember that there's another side to people. They've got a whole life. They still like poop and pee. They still need to eat breakfast. They still
Yes.
have parents. They still
They have to
hopefully.
figure out what it's like to have the attention,
Am
to
I allowed to
have
say
the
poop and pee?
I for sure poo.
Yeah.
I was just okay. I'll say it now because when you said the apple and you'll do something, you'll turn that apple into something wonderful, and I'm thinking, well, probably poo.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
But that is something wonderful. Have you ever not had to have you
yes.
okay,
If
we're
you
going
can't
down the
poop,
hill now.
that's a whole other thing, right? But it's oh my gosh, I know it's it's being a human.
Yeah. We're
And,
gonna sort out all the things before the end of this podcast.
yes, being a human has, it's this wonderful, marvelous, fabulous thing. And then at the same time, it's like really freaking hard. Oh, completely off topic and not. Speaking of something, I have like a favorite show a movie that I watch every once in a while because I just love it so much. And it was about, and I want to talk about somebody who's a really good actor in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It was about the fifth time I watched this movie that I realized who she was.
Who is she?
I'd never noticed it before because I loved the movie. And I just kept watching the movie. And then one day I was like, oh, it's Blake Lively.
Oh, Blake Lively.
Yeah, yeah. And it's oh geez, watch me. I'm gonna forget The Age of Adeline.
Oh,
And I just love that. I like anything kind of. I found it because I was looking for a time travel movie, and it's not really a time travel movie at all. But anyways, that's another story. But it was about the fifth or sixth time I watched that movie that I was like,
I realize who that is.
I realized who it was because she played that part so well that she just captured my heart. I
Yeah.
was just like, oh, she's so
Yes.
cool. Yeah,
Well,
so
people
that's
are cool. I mean, they are. I think it's like
yeah.
I get so attracted to people. Like, literally, I'm like, some people, I'm just like, oh, I just love this. I love this about you, and I love this, and I don't know if there's anything wrong with that. Even that, that feels like eating to me. It feels like
Yeah.
it's like this like thing that's attached to shame for some reason. It's just
Mm.
like wanting or liking something about someone without idolizing it, but just being like, I really like this about you. I really admire this about you. And I don't know where I'm going with this, honestly.
Well, I think even that's how mentorship works too, right?
Yeah.
Mentorship, when I've been, oh man, I've been gifted by so many people who have poured time and energy and love and grace. Oh, you got to have a lot of grace if you're going to hang around with me. I mean, it was like, and I was like, and I think like I'd been mentored many times by many people before I understood. Basically there was this thing that I really found so attractive about that person, and I wanted to be like that. I wanted
Yeah,
to.
or like you need something. Like it's like
Yes,
there's like like we are attracted to things that we either want to be or that we are lacking. Like it's like
yeah.
and I don't know, I am attracted to safety. I am
Yes.
attracted to um I, I wish I could articulate it. Again, there's not a word for it, but it's that place where all of a sudden you remember that it's okay. Like you remember that you exist. You remember that um, we're not swirling around without any tether. Like, because
Yeah.
I was just, is it okay? Chloe needs to use our room in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
So I probably need to finish up here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we've really covered a lot.
I mean, we can
That's
take that
awesome. I would
out
like
what I
us to
just
do
said, right?
17 more of these, by the way. This is like
Yeah,
the TNA show.
yeah,
That's
totally.
It's so
Awesome. Oh, by the way, my hat is a great conversation starter. It's a cornerstone. It just there's a story behind it, but I've had somebody stop me while I'm walking, be like, "I really love that hat," and then I went to the dump, and the lady's like, "Oh, I really love your hat," and she looked close. She's like, "Oh, oh, I thought it said cornerstoner."
So you
He
get
was
a
like,
little
"You should just
felt
add
pen
an
and
R. You should just add an R."
well, when I first looked at it, I was like, oh wow, you have a corner store, corner store hat, like this show Corner Store.
I love
I love that show Corner Store.
corner gas. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Corner Gas. See,
I
I
like
love it
corner
so much.
store though.
See, this is what I'm telling you. I suck as a
I'm
fan. I don't
calling
know the
it
name.
corner
Oh,
store.
oh, I love that show. Okay, don't know the name. I can't remember the people that are in it, but but I really like it. Wanda, I don't even know her real name. She's one of the
Yeah, she's the
what
best.
she is. She is one of the hands down best physical comedians,
Yeah,
actors on the freaking planet. She
yeah,
is like right up there with Lucy and
yeah.
she's just phenomenal. She's a regular listener. So hey, shout out to you, whatever your name is. Wanda.
Yeah, Wanda.
Wanda. Oh my gosh. Well, did we talk about your video and your song? Did we get that in here somehow?
Um, I think we did. Do you want me to talk about it very briefly?
If you well, it's by the time this is on, it will have come out.
Yeah, it'll come out. Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm
If you
having
care at all, you can follow me at
yes.
Tanya Gillespie Music, either on Facebook or on Instagram. If you look up Tanya Gillespie Music, I will be there.
Yeah. And I'll
With
have
my
all your
dog,
contacts.
Selah. Yes. And most of my page is not music. Just so you know.
But the word music is on
But
the
the
top.
word music is on there, and
So
all of life is music. So really, all of my page is music, because that is what creates music.
you see, oh gosh, I love you. Every time you open your mouth, I'm like, oh my God, she's just brilliant. She's brilliant. Little smarty pants. Okay,
I
so
love you.
I love you so much. And hi to Chloe, hi to Selah, and all the assorted.
Thank you for having me. Let's do
Oh,
it again.
yeah. Like, let's totally, completely do it again.
Okay, I'm gonna sit down still for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, no, no, no. First, I have to say, this
Okay.
is Allie. Tanya, thanks for coming and hanging out. This is awesome. This is Allie and Find Your Joy. And yeah,
The
thanks for
keyword is
coming in.
find.
Pardon?
The keyword is find your joy.
Find.
Find.
Yes.
This means you have to look.
Yes. Oh, amen, sister. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us today. And yeah, do remember to find your joy.
This song could be a very last
Thanks so much for joining me today. If you found a piece of your joy in this episode, I would love to hear about what came up for you so that we can continue to grow the impact of this show. Thanks again. See you soon. And remember, find your joy.